Certified Assessor Training Program on Industry 4.0. I would like to extend a warm welcome to Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General of CII, Mr. Sunil Mathur, Chairman CII Smart Manufacturing Council and Managing Director, Siemens India Ltd, Mr. Vijay Thadani, Chairman CII National Committee of Higher Education and Vice Chairman and Managing Director, NIIT Ltd, Mr. Niranjan Nadkarni, CEO, TÜV SÜD ASEAN, South Asia, Middle East and Africa region, and Mr. Vishal Nerurkar, Vice President, Business Assurance Division, TÜV SÜD South Asia. Without further ado, I would now request Mr. Vishal Nerurkar to give a brief overview about the MoU and objectives of this partnership. Over to you, Vishal.
Yeah, thanks, Dheeraj. Well, distinguished guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I'm indeed pleased to welcome you all for this virtual event to announce the signing of Memorandum of Understanding between CII and TÜV SÜD South Asia to deliver Certified Assessor Training Program on Industry 4.0. Since we are interacting with all of you for the first time, a quick introduction of myself and Niranjan. Well, I'm Vishal Nerurkar. I head the Business Assurance Division for South Asia. This Business Assurance Division handles management system certifications for various ISO standards, cybersecurity services, and personal training and certification business. With me is Niranjan. Niranjan Nadkarni is the CEO of ASEAN, South Asia, Middle East and Africa region of TÜV SÜD. He's based out of India. Well, the objective of signing this Memorandum of Understanding today is to announce the launch of training program that will help to create a pool of skilled assessors who, upon completion of training, will be able to perform Industry 4.0 assessment. We believe it's a primary but critical step to support the industry's move towards digital transformation by adopting Industry 4.0. This 6 days of program includes 5 days of phase-wise training and the 6th day of examination. Upon successful completion of the examination, a certificate is issued jointly by CII and TÜV SÜD. I believe that this is a start of a partnership which can witness many areas of collaboration in the future. Thank you and all the very best to the teams. Over to you, Neeraj.
Thank you, Vishal. I would now like to invite Mr. Sunil Mathur to address us. Over to you, Mr. Mathur.
Thank you, Neeraj, and thanks, Vishal, for giving us a little bit of an overview of the program. A very good evening to all of you and a warm welcome to this formal announcement and the MoU signing of the Certified Assessor Training Program. I think this is really a crucial first step in the entire journey of Industry 4.0. The pandemic has really helped us overcome the challenges of physical barriers and turn them in our favor through collaboration and participation with the help of digital. Never before has it become so apparent how much can be done using digital technologies. And this is indeed where we also want to move on the Industry 4.0 program. The CII Smart Manufacturing Council has launched the CII Smart Manufacturing Platform in November 2019. Now, the platform basically acts as an aggregator that brings in assessors to do the assessment in terms of how much the adoption of digital technologies have actually happened in an enterprise on a scale of 1 to 5. And this is an area that takes into account assessments around leadership and strategy, people and culture, operations, supply chain, logistics, and infrastructure. So it's a very critical first step is to basically get an idea where we are or where companies actually are on their digitalization journey. The second is then bringing in consultants. Once we know at what level of maturity we are on a scale of 1 to 5, the next question is how do we get to the next level? And this is where the platform will bring in consultants to provide consultancy services to advise companies and handhold users who are wanting to go to the next level. Once you've got the consulting companies telling you what that next level is and what needs to be done, you then need technology providers. And these technology providers will be global and local players who are really well-versed in their technologies and can adapt technologies to the specific needs of every customer. The needs of an automotive customer are different from the needs of a cement customer and different from the needs of a textile customer. And therefore, technologies and consulting will have to adapt and adopt to these specific businesses and the specific requirements of every business. Now, once you've adopted those technologies and companies have adopted them in their processes, the important thing is really skilling the employees and skilling the entire workforce. So the platform will then provide this opportunity to get a whole lot of skilled training programs onto it that can be offered, which are really tailor-made to these different businesses. We will also, as part of the platform, also be engaging with policy and decision makers around use of standards and norms and making recommendations over there. One thing that is very, very critical for every new entrant into the digitalization game is to know, has this ever been tried anywhere else in my environment, for my industry, for my particular part of manufacturing, not in generic terms, but specific to my industry and specific to my manufacturing. So the platform now provides this showcase where we can actually, where currently we have 47 case studies categorized under industry sectors, whether it's auto and auto ancillaries, pharma, FMCG, and so on. Also tells you in which part of the country and gives a generic overview of what kind of solutions have been adopted and what, more importantly, what the benefits are that have been received out of adopting those technologies. And this is very important as a confidence building measure and also as a means for companies to really figure out what opportunities are there through digitalization. Finally, the platform will put technology demo centers, make them available to enable industry to have a first-hand understanding and a touch-feel experience of how these digital technologies are actually put to use. And these will be demo centers for partner companies with an opportunity really to connect while moving around on a physical tour of the different technologies that are available. So I'm delighted to share that industry has been very supportive towards this platform. They're coming together in full force to drive digitalization industry 4.0, smart manufacturing, call it what you will, as a movement. We already have patron and partner companies, some of the big companies in the country, but also many MSMEs who have decided to join us because they see a real benefit in this platform. As part of this movement, CII has partnered with TÜV SÜD to create an assessor training program. And as I said, this is really the first step on the entire digitalization journey. But this assessor training will help CII and TÜV SÜD to build a pool of assessors that can actually go into companies to assess where they actually are today and also give them recommendations of what they need to do to get to the next level. The first batch of this course will be ready already in January 21. And the MoU that we intend to sign will really strengthen these ties and will open up more avenues of collaboration with TÜV SÜD and CII together to see how we can expand this also to other areas as we learn progressively on this journey. The training program is just the beginning. More such training programs will be launched in the future. But really, a big word of congratulations both to my colleagues in CII and to TÜV SÜD for this collaboration. It's even more relevant now. It's never been more important than today for the country. And we really thank you for joining the platform and joining this initiative. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mathur. May I now request Mr. Vijay Thadani to share his thoughts?
Well, thank you very much for having me. Thank you, Sunil, for setting the context of adoption of Industry 4.0 and the journey. And today, when I was reflecting on the TÜV SÜD Certified Assessor Training, the partnership, I got reminded of the late 80s and 90s, when a similar journey started on quality. And at that time, we were in the thick of that journey, and I'm sure TÜV SÜD, or one of the avatars of TÜV SÜD, definitely played a very, very important role. And so I was comparing ourselves with how we are going about it this time versus that time. What was the problem? The first fundamental problem that we were trying to solve in our industry, and Chandrajit was on the forefront of it at that point of time. And the problem we were trying to solve was that yes, you can build processes, you can buy quality processes, but finally they have to be adopted by human beings. And we found that our industry did not think quality. They thought cost, but they did not think quality as an immediate first thing which could make us more competitive. And at that time, therefore, this whole element of the ISO framework came, saying customers started asking for, saying, if you're not ISO certified, then I don't want to work with you. I was part of the software side of that cycle. And as we were going out and looking for partners and customers to work with in the rest of the world, we found that an ISO certification was very, very important. We also learned in ISO and then subsequently in the SEI CMM model that the issue is not somehow to get yourself certified, but to remain, take advantage of this and contribute to the real product quality that you stand for. While ISO remained common between manufacturing and services, I was on the services side. And then we were also, my own company was the first one perhaps to get certified on education and training and those processes on ISO. But what we learned was that after a certain time, the hardware and the software part diverged, and they went in two different directions. And the hardware part went into Six Sigma and stuff like that. Software also tried to do that, but actually the customers were preferring more SCI, CMM, the Software Engineering Institute Capability Maturity Model. So these were interesting experiences, but the bottom of that was we had to make people think quality. In this forum, I'm representing the Center of Digital Transformation, which is one of the centers of excellence which CII set up a few years ago in partnership with Tata Communications. And in this case, the perspective is how do we make sure that the lessons that we have learned in the whole lessons we have learned in the journey of going through the quality route, is there a way we can translate them into the digital transformation journey? And the starting point is again the same. We would think everything, but we don't think digital. So the first challenge, which for the first year Center for Digital Transformation was leading, was to make people start thinking digital. Because if people think digital, then many other things can be done. Then there is a need which is required. And I must say that the journey for quality took much longer. The journey on the digital transformation, and I also say COVID made it very easy. At least we don't have to convince why digital. We just don't have to talk. Everybody is a natural convert, because the very fact that you are able to join a discussion is because of digital technologies kind of thing, right? So the adoption therefore has been accelerated by that. Center for Digital Transformation, in short, has very similar services to what Sunil just talked about. It has a DEXEL framework, which is a framework like the level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which we saw in CMM. And in this case, what we are doing is we are not distinguishing between manufacturing and services, but we are looking at the organization in totality and saying, is this organization able to use digital transformation as a competitive weapon, as a competitive thing? And in that, therefore, where do you stand? So as Sunil very aptly described, if you don't know how to measure it, you can't manage it. So in this case, it's helping the roadmap where you are working towards, let's say, becoming absolutely proficient, and DEXEL framework helps do that. Actually, when we went looking for that, we found, and Suhail has played a very important role in that, we found that there were no world comparisons which we had. And frankly, we had to get the best of Malcolm Bridge model and the SCI CMM model, and we had to put many models together. And I think a team did an excellent job of creating the DEXEL framework. And now the DEXEL framework is in vogue and is working. And we have begun to certify organizations in DEXEL framework. And unlike in smart manufacturing, where the world may have a small lead, in this case, I think we are imagining and creating a new initiative for the industry in general, not necessarily focused on manufacturing and services. So when Sunil did say that assessors are very important, I was reflecting, and he said there'll be many arms of CII which would be needing it. I can tell you that the DEXEL framework and its measurement and assessment, and then getting people to understand the journey, is a crying need, which we have discussed in our governing council. And I'm so happy that today we have this occasion when TÜV SÜD and CII will partner together to create a certified assessor program, which I'm sure will have many versions, each of them valid for a particular measurement. The second is, and none of these will be possible if we don't have a a specific skills building framework, because we need to create a larger number of assessors, and assessors who are not only just good trainers, but are practitioners turned into trainers, because then only you will get the best of benefits. So I'm sure CDT would also like to partner with TÜV SÜD in the overall umbrella of CII's partnership, and see how TÜV SÜD can help us in creating a large number of certified assessors for the DEXEL framework and the skills that the DEXEL framework requires. I do want to point out that while we do have assessors, which means we have examiners, I'll be keen to understand if we also have a framework for trainers, because to figure out where their trainers are on the journey, because they are the enablers. Assessors are examiners if I was to use the education example of teacher and the examiner. So I just thought those are discussions for future, but wishing this partnership the very best, and we look forward to a great relationship with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thadani. And now I would like to invite Mr. Chandrajeet Banerjee to share a few words on this occasion.
Thank you, Neeraj, and great to be here with the team of CII as well as the TÜV SÜD team. Sunil, Vijay, thanks for briefing us on about the work that's being done and led by you, and on how CII has been really encouraging 4.0 adoption amongst various different stakeholders. Looking forward to hearing from Niranjan, and thanks Vishal for giving your opening comments. But I also wanted to thank really actually Vijay for taking us back a couple of decades, and I was very much thinking of the same flow today when I got the papers from Sujith Haridas, exactly as to how we started the journey on quality. The times are very different, and things are very different, and I hope that it would be much easier for us to move ahead. It wasn't such an easy journey at that point in time when we launched the quality mission and in the 80s. And today's function, of course, is very, very unique to me and very significant, actually, for the CII family, if I can say 300,000 plus companies that we touch upon. And I think this is very, very important. And we have been saying at various forums in an hour's time, exactly in an hour's time from now, I will be getting into a global summit of the small and the medium enterprises, SME summit, where Mr. Gadkari is going to come. And I thought of mentioning about this because, and we have been saying at various forums that the 4IR has really become a reality and has today garnered phenomenal interest across our membership, as well as when we talk to other institutions with whom we have partnership globally. We are all, this almost becomes the first point of discussion. And now that we are living in rather interesting times, we must be cognizant of the transformations around us and make the best use of them. And I'd really like to say that from the CII prism, this becomes very important, and with smart manufacturing encompassing really the entire value chain, starting from the concept to end of life considerations, and heavily relying on information and communication technologies and to integrate the production and commercial operations in a pretty seamless process. And today it has really become very, very relevant, and I'm sure it will be a very key sort of a program within the CII framework, and through our institutions, through and various touch points. One of the biggest opportunities in CII is not just the locations of CII across the country in 68 offices in India, but very importantly, the different centers of excellence with which while there could be one implementing sort of a center within CII, which Vijay and Sunil both referred to, but I would imagine that there are several other touch points that this would have with many other centers of excellence that CII has created across the country in various other areas. And I think, therefore, it's going to be a very deep-rooted collaboration in different wings of CII and this as we mission as we go forward. And the implications for a country such as ours, where all levels of industry 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0 will coexist, are indeed very, very significant. Vast efforts are really today required at the macro and the firm level to help ride this wave. And for industry, this really translates, as I see, to increased need for global competitiveness, higher integration with the GVCs, investment in building advanced manufacturing capabilities, and so on and so forth. And at the ecosystem level, strengthening the building blocks that facilitate this high growth, and building the requisite digital and the advanced manufacturing infrastructure shall really be very, very critical, as these will act as the backbone for the proliferation of the new age technologies in a country like India. So really, one is very, very delighted that CII and TÜV SÜD have come together and to take such a step forward by really creating training and creating a pool of qualified Industry 4.0 assessors to the country and to the industry. And having had the experience of similar projects like Vijay referred to, we are extremely excited as we go along. Assessment forms the first step in a journey of adoption of Industry 4.0, and this really makes it extremely relevant if we want to ride this wave of change. Only if we have the skilled workforce, one believes, who can evaluate the level of adoption of Industry 4.0 by a firm, the real journey can start in the correct direction with the right type of guidance. And the pool of assessors and consultants can guide, can really actually handhold our firms, our members, especially the small and the medium enterprises in this journey of the adoption of Industry 4.0. So it's really a great step towards making our country a smart enabled nation. And I really would like to thank, recognize, and really congratulate each one and each one of you, every one of you, for being a part of this very, very important journey. So thank you very much, and we are looking forward to the exciting times ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Banerjee. And now I would like to invite Mr. Niranjan Nadkarni to share his views.
Thank you very much, Mr. Banerjee, Mr. Mathur, Mr. Thadani, for his really insightful words. I would also not like to forget to thank the teams who have really facilitated this partnership, because there is a tremendous work when we work with this large industrial organization like CII. There was a tremendous work in that, so thank you very much for that. As we all know, and especially when we move all around the world, we see that the world is changing very fast. It's moving much faster than we think towards the digitalization and Industry 4.0. The question is no longer whether the digital revolution will happen, but how fast as an organization or an individual will embrace the rapid changes in technology by enhancing the required skill sets. I think that's the most important question. And if you really look at the Industry 4.0, it is really touching every human activity, the entire ecosystem, and the entire value chain. So it is not just limiting to a nation or a small industry or individual, but the entire ecosystem. And sometimes I hear when I travel that sometimes in India, that look, this digital revolution is happening in Western countries. It will take some time. It may not happen, but I can tell you that if you have this kind of thinking, I think you lose the competitiveness. I just would like to quote one of my very favorite, historian and author from Israel. You might have heard his name, Yuval Harari. I mean, he always talks about something like a useless class. Yeah. So he mentions that if the industry or an individual or a group of individuals, if you lose your competitiveness, you go into that useless class. So you have classes like the best in the class, the world class, and then you have got this lower class. So then you have to see that our industry, is it moving in the direction of the world class and with global competition, or we are moving down? And the most fundamental thing in this particular journey to move up the ladder is the skill readiness. This is absolutely critical and fundamental requirement for that particular thing. And it all starts with the basic training, retraining, continuous training, and then we need to ensure that there is a very good talent pool available with us. And a country like India, the size of India, I just heard that CII with thousands of industries being associated with. we require something like not just in hundreds and thousands and 10,000s, but probably 100,000 such people, who are participants in that large talent pool. And in my opinion, that's the key differentiator. I would also like to say that on one hand, CII's, the Smart Manufacturing Council is addressing the fundamental need to help the professionals to unlearn, learn, and relearn. On the other hand, we as TÜV SÜD and CII, this enables us to deliver to the industry the best-in-class insights and learnings. I think that's a wonderful combination of we working together as in partnership. I would also think that the whole thing also supports our national strategies. We talk about Make in India, we talk about Digital India, we talk about Skill India. These are all in the similar gambit. To make India as a world-class global manufacturing arena who delivers really a very strong quality products. I would also like to state that probably you would have heard this, and of course, Mr. Mathur knows about it, that this year in October, the World Economic Forum, WEF, and EDB of Singapore, the Economic Development Board of Singapore, with McKinsey and Siemens and TÜV SÜD, we joined hands to accelerate the global adoption of the Smart Industry Readiness Index. We call it CII. We also, as TÜV SÜD, we are very, very proud member of the Charter of Trust. And this Charter of Trust is primarily in the area of cybersecurity and data integrity. I can also would like to add that whatever work we are doing is not just in the training of the digital space, but in actual technologies, which are actually driving the industry forward and the digitalization process. For example, like autonomous vehicles, whether it's robotics, whether it's additive manufacturing, cybersecurity, you talk about the smart elevators, the connected world, comes into each one of these technologies. And then we are there to support the industry in that part. As you know that, we as TÜV SÜD in India, we are almost now, I think in Jan, we are completing 26 years of our existence in India. We as a global company, we are more than 150 years old. And we have worked through various stakeholders, the industry bodies, various customers. And I basically believe that, this global experience and expertise, plus the local experience and expertise, if we can really pull it together, we can really drive a culture of quality, safety, security, and sustainability. I think that should be the aim of this partnership. With this short words, I would once again like to thank everybody, and I wish that this partnership will go in a very, very long way to support our industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Niranjan. May I now request upon Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General of CII, and Mr. Niranjan Nadkarni, CEO, TÜV SÜD ASEAN, South Asia, Middle East, and Africa region, to showcase the MoU to all of us. This will also be our photo opportunity moment. I would like to request other invitees to kindly switch off their cameras for a few minutes while we take the picture so that we get a clearer shot of the MoU showcase. Just allow us a few minutes so that we get the perfect shot. Niranjan sir, can you just hold it a little away from your face? The document away from your face? Yeah, yeah. And little towards your right hand side. Yes, yes. And little above. Yes. Mr. Banerjee, if you can also take the document little on your right hand side. Yeah, and little below your face. Yes, yes. Yes. Just allow us a minute or so to confirm, just a few seconds. Is it? Okay. Sir, Mr. Banerjee, if you can shift it a little more to the right, I think. Yeah. Yes, thank you, both of you.